Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we're taking a look at Paul Sebastian Fine Cologne. I'm going to review that one for you guys today. Really interested in this sense. One of my favorite fiction books is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis, which was made into a film, of course. And there's this scene in that book where the main character, Patrick Bateman, admits to wearing it. And I've always had this idea as a perfumer to sort of remix it and make it more modern, and how Pat Bateman would want to wear that in 2019. So certainly when I decided that I wanted to make perfumes, always been something in the back of my mind. It's something I've been working on, is really working on this fragrance a little bit updated. So but I had always had that in the back of my head that, oh, this is what Pat Bateman wore in American Psycho. There's a scene where he's with his fiancée, Evelyn, I think her name is, in the book and in the film, in a restaurant, and she's like, oh, what is that? And I forget what she thinks, and he says, no, it's Paul Sebastian. And I saw it one day at TJ Maxx and I grabbed it, and we'll talk about that today. It's the only scent that I own from Paul Sebastian, and my guess, this will be the only scent that I own. It's not a bad house. They have 6 other fragrances, including a couple of women's scents, but I don't think I'm interested in any others. And as far as the house goes, you guys know when I look at a house for the first time, I try to give you some context and background. This is an American house. There's nobody named Paul Sebastian. It was a gentleman. There's 2 Italian guys actually from Jersey, Leonard Paul Cuzzo and Alan Sebastian Greco. And they created and marketed this fragrance in 1979. It was meant to stay regional, but it did really well. So they expanded their sales and the line even a little bit. And they were purchased by FFI in 1999. And FFI later became Elizabeth Arden, which it still is today. And Paul Sebastian is still owned by Elizabeth Arden. And the last scent that was released by Paul Sebastian officially was 2004, so it doesn't really look good for brand direction, but you never know. So this was a 1979 release. It's got notes of sage, nutmeg, lavender, ylang-ylang, cloves, jasmine, rose, spices, amber, musk, patchouli, and oak moss. For my bottle, I paid $20. It's 120 ml. It was from TJ Maxx, and you can find it for that price online pretty easily. So definitely don't overpay for this scent. The presentation is really sort of 80s, I guess. Whatever you want to say. It's an 80s okay bottle. Gold. Yeah, let's just make sure it's 120 ml. Yeah, it's 4 ounces. You got that fake gold, good atomizer, really shitty cap, light plasticky. It has PS on the top. It's like nothing fancy. I guess I could see why in the 80s maybe people thought this was some Paul Sebastian was some expensive French brand or a French man or an English man, but yeah, it's not a great presentation. The box is not different. It's got the PS on the front, but not something that you'd be like, whoa, take a look. Certainly not Xerjoff Raja or one of those brands. But the scent is nice, guys. It's this classic aromatic scent that's very much barbershop-like. It's not a traditional fougere. There's a nice hit of lavender in here, but you get this musky note right at the bottle that's somewhere between a clean white musk and a dirty musk. And yeah, a good hint of barbershop quality lavender and clove. But I really think what makes this interesting is the ylang-ylang note, which gives it a little bit of floral creaminess. And that sort of pairs off with the jasmine and rose to give a floral heart to this perfume. To me, it's kind of this really nice, well-made men's musky, floral, spicy scent, right? You get the spice from the nutmeg and sage, making it a little bit green and masculine, and then this floral mid and this really nice musk accord throughout the body of the scent. It's not going to blow you over. You're not going to smell this and think, oh my God, where's this been my whole life? There are better versions of this scent, but it's good. It's solid. And if it's good enough for Patrick Bateman, it should be good enough for you, as it's just sort of this 80s masculine, nice, spicy, clean smelling fragrance. It's also not going to really impress you when it comes to performance. I'm going to tell you the truth, but it does the job just fine. It will definitely get you through a day of work smelling crisp. I think this is going to do better on a man than a woman, even with the floral elements. It just comes off as one of those men's classic woody aromatic scents, and I think you really could wear this any season, but you might want to go with something a little more fresh and light in the summertime. I think ideally this is a work scent in a business casual setting. I don't think it will ever smell out of place, but it might smell a little bit dated. If you're looking for something similar, you can't find this, want to go upscale, maybe spend less if possible, yeah, I would say Pierre Cardin's Pour Monsieur, which I talked about one on my Instagram page a little bit. Might be a little bit cheaper. It's sort of similar to this. It's also a nice sort of cheap scent. Vintage Old Spice, right? Like that's sort of a little bit reminiscent of this. Jovan Sex Appeal. Moss Bresh. Upscale version of this scent, better version of this scent, discontinued. Dua has a clone of it. Chypre Supreme, very good clone of Moss Bresh. Those kind of scents, not straight up barbershop per se, but sort of between barbershop and these 80s style men's aromatics. If someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this fragrance, I think they'd say that it's really nice, well-made, safe scent for $20 or so. Will not make you smell bad or off-putting to anyone, and it's really easy to find this one. I think on the flip side, if someone's trying to get you to skip it, they'd say, hey, it is safe. Are you looking for that? Could smell dated. It's not going to really impress anyone or anybody, and this does smell like a lot of other options out there. Again, cheaper. Well, not really too much cheaper, but certainly more expensive. This is reminiscent of a lot of fragrances. Maybe you need only one of these. You don't want 10. I feel like I have a lot of scents that smell like this, which again, why I think it would be fun to sort of do a more modern version of this. I'm going to rate this a 6.5 out of 10. It's not bad at all. I wear it from time to time. You could see, not lying. I've worn a decent amount of this. Most of it's been to test, to see, how my version of it is sort of evolving. And as I said, I like it so much I want to update it, but it's not something I think most men will want to wear in 2019. It's a good, well-made fragrance, but better than the swill, I feel like, that comes out in the designer ranks in 2019, but it's not A1 quality. It's just a nice scent for a guy to wear to work. That's how I wear it. I won't wear it to a romantic dinner. I won't wear it to impress people. I just sort of wear it to enjoy myself, wear it as filler, and I feel okay doing so. It's a well done aromatic scent, and I feel like I can recommend it heartily as that. So guys, that has been my review of Paul Sebastian Fine Cologne. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, if you've ever tried it, if you think I hit it on the mark, if you think it's better than what I said, or if you think it's not as good as my rating. Please do drop a comment. Let me know what you think of this one, and if I were to remix this one, which I said is something one of the fragrances I want to release at some point. Let me know how you'd like to see it remixed. I'd love to know that, because I certainly have my own ideas and interpretations, sort of how Patrick Bateman would want a fragrance to smell, the notes he'd be impressed with, and what he'd want in a fragrance for himself. He'd hear things and read things in magazines and be like, a fragrance needs to have XYZ. I sort of am incorporating what he thinks a fragrance should be with this skeleton and sort of trying to combine them. So let me know what you think of that. Drop a comment, and I'll see you again real soon with another video, guys. You know what it is. My name, obviously, is Maximilian.
I Smith for Western recognize the helter skelters on the rise, and you can look into the eyes of the devil. Motherfucker 10%. Cause when I represent the 5%, the gods get bent. Straight from right to left, now left to right. You drop the mic.